Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Dead Meme podcast. I'm joined here by Dan.
Hello.
Elijah.
Hello.
And Adam.
Hello.
This should be going up on two different YouTube channels, but that's fine. We're going to be talking about WandaVision today. We're going to talk about Bethesda and Xbox, and then some other things that will just randomly pop in. So what would you guys like to start off with then?
I suppose might as well do WandaVision because that's the most recent thing we're done. So
yeah, WandaVision's been a big thing recently in terms of, you know, it's been all over Twitter and pop culture and all that stuff. So it's been, Dan watched it when it first came out, episode after episode, but I only watched it in full yesterday with him and another person. So that's fun.
Yeah, WandaVision has been quite recent that people have started to realize that, oh wow, it's actually quite good. You have to get into it to actually understand what's happening. You can't.
This is very true.
Yeah,
because episode 1's not great.
Yeah,
episode 1 is just not great. So a lot of people were just like, they released the first two episodes at the same time, and obviously those first two episodes were fully in black and white. So that may have also turned some people off, thinking the whole show is going to be in black and white when obviously it wasn't. Even though the trailer showed it clearly not being in black and white, but still, you know, something like that could happen.
Yeah, that can happen.
I think the series as a whole it's a lot of fun. It has its highs, its lows. It's definitely something that was a very unique concept, and it was great, executed very well as well in most parts. Although obviously there was the news online recently that the director said there was going to be a whole 10th episode that's actually been shot and recorded, but they didn't do VFX for it in time. So maybe there might be WandaVision, the lost episode, coming soon. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, technically speaking, Falcon and Winter Soldier has some lost episode.
That's true, yeah. Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming next week, so we'll probably talk about that next week, and probably talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League next week as well, which is a thing. Yeah. I know another TV show that members of this podcast enjoy is called Paradise PD, which I know Elijah is a big fan of, and I am too, and I very much enjoy Paradise PD. Yeah, I know its third part has come out literally 2 days ago, so I haven't had a chance to watch it.
Actually, it was yesterday.
Oh, do you know? I don't care.
It premiered the 12th of March. Which
that.
Because today is the 13th.
Nice.
I mean, obviously, the big thing for WandaVision is that it's obviously the first MCU thing in not only a year, but for Phase 4 in general.
Yeah. So it's obviously been such a long time that people... I remember myself, when I sat down and watched the first episode, hearing that fanfare again for the first time in over a year was very satisfying and fun, because that fanfare is just brilliant.
It is. So, that is just great to see some Marvel content again.
Yeah, it really is.
Over, just the last year alone was...
It's just been so dry of Marvel. All you could really do is go back and watch everything on Disney Plus, except for Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man Far From Home, which is fun. Yeah.
Even though they have the X-Men titles.
Yeah, and they have X-Men stuff, which is fun. They don't have First Class on Disney Plus, which is really annoying because that's like the best one. Yeah. So please.
I don't know how.
Actually, every other X-Men film is on there except for First Class, and it's just like, why would you do that?
Well, I don't see the problem.
Because Fox definitely own First Class. There's no licensing issues with First Class at all.
I don't think so.
So it's just like, why would you do that? Anyway, that's WandaVision out of the way. Should we move on to something that I think more of us can talk about? Bethesda and Xbox, which I'd love to get your guys' opinions on that.
Yes, it is a very interesting topic to talk about, because when I first heard that Xbox bought out Bethesda, it was surprising all the same, but at the same time, it was interesting to see that Xbox picked up a studio like Bethesda, and knowing that their recent failures, shall I say?
Yeah, that's a big.
With Fallout 76, of course. And I mean, there were some good games that came out during that time, like Doom Eternal came out, and that was pretty good.
It's brilliant. I think Bethesda as a whole, at the time of Microsoft purchasing them, they really needed a way out because they hadn't been doing as successful as they had before. But it was quite a big thing when it was first announced. I was quite shocked that because before we'd seen some companies be bought by other companies, but they were sort of a big company buying a quite small company. Like an example I'm going to use here is EA bought Codemasters, the guys who make Dirt and all that stuff. That was recent as well. And but seeing one of the biggest third party publishers in all of gaming be bought up by one of if not the biggest current gaming platform company is quite a big thing, really. And it obviously as soon as the deal was done, a bunch of Bethesda games went straight to Game Pass, like Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3, Doom 64, Dishonored 1 and 2. I think Wolfenstein, the Old Blood, and Wolfenstein, the new
Prey,
and the Prey as well, and the first Wolfenstein game they made, and then the prequel one they made are both on Game Pass, so that was fun. And Youngblood, which I'm seeing on my Xbox screen now, which is fun.
I believe actually recently they've announced that they have so much money that they can actually buy another studio that matches Bethesda, from what I've heard.
Yeah, that would be... If they buy EA, I would laugh. I would just... that would be funny.
I mean, they would have a good chunk of... Like, they would have access to, like,
That would be absolutely massive.
FIFA,
if they buy EA, that would just be the biggest thing in gaming.
VR, and just so much other stuff as well.
I mean, there's obviously EA. They could obviously buy Ubisoft if they really wanted to. Activision and Blizzard, that's another one they could probably jump for.
If they actually do Activision and Blizzard, for starters, that would be a big deal because of Call of Duty's thing, and obviously Call of Duty comes out every year.
Xbox is the company that sort of like it's nice to the others, but the others aren't nice back to it. As in, obviously, it allows its games on Nintendo Switch, like in the Will of the Wisp and stuff like that. But there's no Nintendo game that's Xbox, so I think Xbox is nice, and they're not having the niceness come back to them. So I'm pretty sure if they did buy Activision, they'd still let Call of Duty games be cross-platform.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%.
There's those two Bethesda games that they still have to publish on PS5 exclusives, which made me laugh. Definitely.
Is it just me, or did Billy's mic just spaz out?
Because my mic is not very good.
Your mic just spazzed out. It did not like it.
It sounded like a little bit wibbly wobbly. That's what I heard. But I think everything's fine now. But Elijah, do you have anything to say about the topic, or?
I don't really know much about Bethesda. But I love one of the games I really love to play is Prey. I don't
play it. Is it good?
It's a really excellent game, especially the DLC as well. The DLC, which came out a year later, called Moon Crash. Moon Crash has such a lot of replayability, and it's so much variety that it is a really great add-on to the game as well. I'd say that the ending is a bit disappointing. In the original game, Prey, not in the original, in the 2017 version of Prey that Bethesda made, it was a bit of a weird ending, but overall the game and the experience, running through, doing all these side missions, all these moral choices, because there's the whole point of Prey is that it's like a moral choice. In the end, I won't spoil it for anyone that still hasn't played it, but there's a big thing at the end that just it highlights all your actions. So you need to be really careful what you do in the game, how you interact with people, if you save them, if you don't. It all matters. It all matters in Prey. It is a really great game.
I quite just thinking of what you just said there. It made me think of a thing we could do each week if we keep on doing this. A segment where we each talk about a specific game that we've enjoyed playing over the week that maybe not everyone would talk about. I think that would be quite interesting.
Yeah,
what you guys think.
That would be quite cool.
And you've just talked about Prey. I could talk about like Dirt 5 or something with Dead Space, and Daniel could talk about Plants vs Neighborhoods or something.
And the game
I think that's a good concept.
Change just like based on whoever's day it is, the game can change.
Obviously.
Yeah. Something big as well is that obviously with the whole Bethesda thing, obviously I believe this is actually the same people that are actually making the that made Prey and Dishonored, I believe, I'm correct. But I believe they're making a new PS5 exclusive. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Deathloop. Don't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That game is being published by Xbox on PS5 exclusively, which I just thought was funny as all hell when I heard that.
But that is actually an interesting concept, and the game looks interesting, I gotta admit. Plus the music. If you haven't heard the Deja Vu song that they released for the trailer, it's so good. It is. It fits in that this 70s type style that they're going for, very James Bondish to an extent.
Yeah.
So
I can imagine so.
And it also has gameplay elements of like Doom, where it's like fast.
Doom is brilliant. Doom is my favorite. Doom is my favorite FPS of all time, and I'm talking the original one. Although Doom 2016 is very good, I still prefer the original because it's just so much fun to play. But yeah, several games have received Xbox Series X and S upgrades recently, such as Minecraft Dungeons came out of nowhere. I know it was last year, but I still want to talk about it because it literally I was looking on my screen and then I see XS underneath Minecraft Dungeons and I'm like, what the hell? And then obviously Crash 4 got its XS upgrade literally yesterday, which was fun.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that game is collectathon heavy. Like,
yeah, it really is.
Any collectathon game ever made wails in comparison to that. So,
in other things, No Time to Die, the James Bond film coming out this year, recently got a release date change again recently, although they didn't actually announce it anywhere publicly, like on Twitter or anything. They just put it up on some of the cinema websites that the film is coming out on September 30th in the UK and other countries, and slightly early in other countries, like from between the 30th of September and the 7th of October. It's coming out sporadically in other countries, and then it launches it'll be in cinemas on most countries on the 8th of October 2021. So that's a fun thing. That film has been pushed back so many times. It's really annoying. I can remember the first time when I was like, fair enough. Second time I was like, annoying, but fair enough. The third time I was just like, you know what? I'm done with this. No, thank you. You know?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's always going to come down to how the world is at the time.
Yeah, that's very true.
We really don't know what's going to be happening in the current climate of the world. Like, yes, there is vaccination centers and COVID tests and all that, and schools have obviously reopened recently. So it all comes down to the numbers for them.
Yeah, that's very true.
Really, what it comes down to.
What do you think about this, Elijah? Okay, he's dead. That's fun. Adam, what do you think about anything you want to contribute or say about? Adam, anything you want to say about anything?
Not really.
Okay.
If we're to rate and review games every week, then I'm gonna have to spend a lot of money on games.
You could always talk about Minecraft every week, Adam. That's more than fine by us because there's so much different in that game every week you play. You probably can talk about Minecraft for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Nah, but then it would get boring for the viewers and yada yada yada.
Very true.
And obviously, there's Minecraft Dungeons, of course.
Minecraft Dungeons is lots of fun.
Yeah. Of course, I'm still hesitant if I want to get the Diablo 2 remake that's coming out.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go, but it could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Diablo 2 is a very well-respected game, and obviously since Minecraft Dungeons took a lot of inspiration from that game, so I am interested to see that, because obviously a lot of people say that Minecraft Dungeons is basically like a diet version of Diablo.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Minecraft Dungeons a lot. I replayed it again recently, so I don't actually see much difference in the graphics, from previously playing it before I had an Excess upgrade, and now. But hey, there must be something noticeable.
Yeah, probably.
Obviously, we're all based in the UK, so we've recently been going back to education. I'm not going to say what we're in, but education. And obviously, at my education, Dan and I go to a similar education. We have to start doing weekly COVID tests. So I don't know if you've had yours yet at the college.
I have not
Dan.
got my weekly COVID test yet at all.
I had mine on Thursday, the swab tests, which are... they're not that bad. I had a friend in my class who was quite nervous, but I calmed him down a bit, and he was like, and after he said to me, "I've never gagged so much in my life," and I was just like, it was quite funny. But yeah, also being based in the UK, we have a big, obviously, at the moment, all the cinemas are closed. I usually drive past my local Odeon cinema most times when I go up to see my grandmother, and it's always sat there just closed, and walk past it sometimes when I'm in town, and it just makes me feel sad that a place that I've gone to for so many years, and I know many people in the podcast has gone to quite a lot, even together sometimes.
Yeah,
some of us. It's just so sad to see it sat abandoned for so long. And I looked in the window one day, and they had just like "No Time to Die" posters everywhere, and it was just like, I hope it reopens soon because I can't wait to sit back in those comfy chairs and watch a big movie on the white screen. And
I actually do want to kind of talk about something when it comes to the streaming stuff, like all the obviously the films that were supposed to come out in cinema come on the streaming services.
That's a big thing.
I think I want to talk about some of the films because some of them aren't great. Like last year alone, there was some really not great films that came on streaming services, and were pretty bad. I mean, I could name quite a few, like Scoob. That was.
I haven't seen Scoob. I haven't seen it. I thought it looked okay, but I'm not going to say anything if it is or it hasn't. There was Artemis Fowl, which I haven't seen yet either, but I want to watch because interesting concept. I know you've seen that. What did you think of Artemis?
I have seen it. I mean, in my opinion, it's okay-ish, not great. But if you compare it to the books, then it's an absolute disaster. In my opinion. But to be fair, the like characters like Josh Gad, that's his name. He did a really good job, along with.
He does a good job in most things he's in. To be honest, he's quite a talented man. Not gonna lie.
Along with Judi Dench, she was really good.
Did she a furry in that movie, which I'm pretty sure someone in this call would like?
No,
not gonna name any names.
I'm pretty sure it's not furry. Trust me, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Then there was,
who would be the person that likes furries? Would it be Elijah?
But he's not here to back up his own case, so that's fine.
But I believe Scoob, one of the biggest problems with Scoob is that it was they were trying to set up like a cinematic universe,
like everything is these days. The failed.
It failed, and it also did things like starring the Minions train, getting really top tier celebrities, like flipping. Like Simon Cowell's in that film, by the way, in case you know.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know why they did that. Does anyone here remember the stupid Dark Universe that Universal tried to start and it just failed immediately with The Mummy?
Oh yeah, the one with Tom Cruise. Yeah.
And then they did The Invisible Man last year, which was really, really good. Like that's one of the best horrors I've seen in a long time. Invisible Man directed by Lee Winnell is a brilliant film. Absolutely fantastic.
Sequel too.
Yeah, I'm happy about that because that guy is a very talented director. There was obviously back to the streaming service and movies that got plopped on it. There was Mulan, which I haven't seen, but there was a lot of controversy around that movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know when I saw I remember seeing I can't remember what film it was, but I remember seeing a film in the cinema with you, Dan, and seeing the trailer, and I thought it looked quite nice, like stylized, like visuals wise, it looked nice. But other than that,
that's what.
With no other reason.
That
I really wanted to see it.
Visually amazing, but. When it comes to the actual film itself, it's really, really okay to bad.
Yeah. And there was Soul, which was actually a good one.
I haven't seen that, and it is an incredible film.
Soul was a good one.
Visually.
There was Onward as well, Pixar's latest film at that point, I think, which I haven't seen Onward either, but it looked interesting to me, so that's something I might watch. Then there's obviously the most recent one that's been going up now that you have to pay 20 quid to watch on Disney Plus, which is Raya and the Last Dragon, which also, might I point out, animation, looking at the trailer, animation these days is looking absolutely beautiful. It looks wonderful. Animation is stunning nowadays compared to what it used to be like. But yeah, I suppose that's the whole idea of movies going straight to demand is a big thing. Obviously, other more recent ones that have gone straight to home, well, had a limited release in this country in the States, and then went straight to streaming or pay-per-view stuff. We've got Wonder Woman 1984 that happened to that one. There was a bunch of others. There was The Gentleman was like that at one point. I'm not 100% sure. There was a Tenet. Well, actually, no, that doesn't count because Tenet came out when it was perfectly fine. Willy's Wonderland, the new Five Nights at Freddy's style movie starring.
Yes, I actually really want to talk about
Nicolas Cage. Which looks quite cool. Not gonna lie.
I actually want to talk about that one because I haven't seen much of it, but it is I mean, it's basically, if you see, I've seen like the trailer that they released back in January, and it's basically a carbon copy of FNAF.
Yeah,
like
with Nicolas
literally-
Cage, who's just
Yeah, like
odd.
the literal plot is apparently there's 5 children that gets kidnapped by some mysterious person. That is literally identical to how FNAF did it, except they haven't mentioned the purple guy.
Yeah.
Like, that is literal carbon copy of the story.
It does look quite like, honestly, I heard a lot of people say it's basically the same, but yeah.
Yeah, and there was actually going to be a real FNAF film coming out soon. It's been in development for at least 5 years now. So
Yeah, the FNAF
Yeah.
I think
talked about quite a lot.
I know
Oh,
they're
there?
starting production, or they're starting, or they have the script. They actually have a good script, so I know for a fact they are.
Yeah, there's been
in production at the moment. So.
Yeah, but I can imagine it's having because a lot of films are having a lot of problem getting into production at the moment, and films that are currently in production are having problems. Like a big one that there was a lot of news surrounding it a while ago. There was an audio recording of Tom Cruise on the set of Mission Impossible 7 and 8, just shouting his head off at the crew members for ignoring COVID guidelines, and there was a whole conversation about was he right or was he wrong? And I personally believe that he was right to do that because they were breaking important protocols that kept them going in production wise. So I feel like he was right to do that. But I want to get your guys' opinions on that because it's quite an interesting topic.
I've just heard of this. So
What did he actually do? What did he actually say?
Actually, I think I would put up the recording, but I don't know what it is. But he said stuff like he was shouting at them about, look, Hollywood is relying on us to keep as a idea of how to keep production going in terms of COVID, and they're going to set the standard of how to do it. And he was shouting. He said the F word a load of times. I'm not going to say it here because this is trying to be funny. He said, if I ever catch you doing it again, you'll be fired immediately. And he just literally had a mad go at them for not following COVID protocols. And I thought it was just something I feel like it was the right. Maybe he was a bit too over the top when he was shouting at them, but I did feel like it was the right reaction instead of just letting them off the cuff and just saying, it's all right. You should really tell them off for breaking important protocols, you know?
Yeah, no,
But hey,
I think that's quite fair to do that, considering there's such a big thing. Because obviously COVID is such a massive thing. It is, of course. Everyone knows.
It's been lasting a whole year.
Everyone knows the name COVID. You would not go to anyone with a mobile device. Everyone knows the word COVID, and so I think he was very much in his right to do that. Because obviously to keep production going, to keep everything. Because if there was a COVID outbreak on that production, they'd have to shut the whole thing down. Because then everyone would have to self-isolate. So that's the thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They were in production in early last year, and during the middle of last year, someone got COVID on the set, and they had to just stop production for about 6 months, which is why WandaVision came out before Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because WandaVision finished shooting before Falcon and the Winter Soldier even started up again shooting. So that has happened before in the past on several films. Where it happened on Shang-Chi as well. They were on the set of that and someone tested positive. They just shut it all down immediately. In fact, it was the director of Shang-Chi that tested positive, and they shut down the whole thing immediately. Everyone fucked off back to where they came from, and it just stopped immediately. So it's happened before, and it wouldn't surprise me if it does happen again.
Yeah, definitely.
The big thing, every industry in the world has been affected by it in some way, shape, or form. There's not one industry that hasn't been affected by it in some way, shape, or form. And it's just something that I've felt this for a while, that the world's never going to be the same again when this finally goes away to a level where we can go back to semi-normal. It's never going to be the same again. There's going to be so many differences since we've started this whole thing, that we're going to be living a completely different world afterwards, you know?
I think.
I think.
I mean, it's definitely history in the making, really.
Yeah, it really is. And we're in the middle of it, and it's just amazing to think that some of us, 3 of us at least, are, affected in fact, no, that's not true. All of us have had it affect our education, our grades, where we go, and how it's going to affect the rest of our lives going forward. It's going to affect all of us in a big way, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just such a big thing that we've never seen before. And, yeah. It's just it's not fun. Basically, it has its bonuses and it has its bad parts, and it's
most of it is bad.
Yeah, most of it's bad, but it's good.
I suppose I forgot to mention this, but the Mortal Kombat films came out, or the trailer came out a couple of weeks ago.
That was a big thing. That was because I'm pretty sure I saw something recently on Twitter saying that was the highest rated R-rated trailer of all time, or something, restricted trailer ever, or something like that, to do with it being
does look really good. Like, it actually looks really promising.
It was the most viewed restricted trailer of all time on YouTube. That's what it was.
That's interesting. But, I mean, hopefully, it looks promising. And if Sonic the Hedgehog was like the little spark, then obviously this is going to be like the gasoline.
Another good thing to talk about, video game movies have come a long way. And I feel like prior to 2018, they were always seen as the best they could get was just being okay. And the worst they could get was being some of the worst movies ever made. But 2019, there was two big ones that really showed video game movies can be good, tell a good story, and still have good elements from the games in it. And those obviously were Pokemon Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog. And I felt that Pokemon Detective Pikachu was the better film, in my opinion, but Sonic the Hedgehog was the more fun film, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I know there was actually, I know there's an evil TV show going to Netflix that they're currently working on.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yep, there's more comic film, like we mentioned. I know Monster Hunter came out recently, but I heard that one's not great. So,
it's a Witcher TV show, which I don't know if that counts as being based on the game or the book.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I'm going to say it is because it's called The Witcher, so fight me.
It'd probably be both.
Probably. I'd say both. They're making a
show coming out soon.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Well, making a Thomas the Tank Engine movie, which is going to be why? Just immediately, why the hell?
Do you remember the Thomas the Tank Engine movie they made?
It was the Magic Way Award, I think it was called.
What was it?
I think it was called the Magic Way Award.
I think it was. You're right. It was. I remember watching that. I watched it 3 times.
How did you watch the Thomas?
Because I can't remember when it came out. It must have been. Hang on. It must have been a while ago. It came out because I remember it. I remember going to see it. Hang
on. Another one I remember seeing on Netflix not when it first came out, but I know it was on Netflix. That's the movie in the title. So the SpongeBob movie. Sponge Out of Water? No, it's not Sponge Out of Water. Sponge on the Run.
Yeah, it was Sponge Out of Water.
Yeah, Sponge on the Run was on Netflix recently, and I thought that was. I heard a lot of people panning it, saying it was shit, but I watched it, and I thought the animation looks wonderful.
Oh, the animation is what is really that was really amazing. I did watch it because I watched Sponge Out of Water, and I watched the one before that. I watched the Goofy Goober one. I'm a Goofy Goober.
That one was. I remember that one came out. A long time ago, like 15 years ago now.
It brings back so many memories.
Yeah, it really does. I was watching the Simpsons movie, and that brought me back a lot of memories because I remember having a DVD of that. I still have it somewhere, and that's a good movie. And I enjoyed the Simpsons movie. A lot of people thought it was just a cash grab, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, the Simpsons movie was quite good. Movies also just can make and break a series. Really, it's just to talk about quite a popular series, South Park. South Park.
I remember the South Park movie.
Their movie released back in I want to say the 90s. I think it was somewhere in the 90s.
99, I think it was.
Yeah.
South Park has a movie.
Yeah, South Park does have a movie.
Exactly.
It's called Bigger, Better, Uncut. South Park, Bigger, Better, Uncut.
A friend sent me an illegal rip of that movie. That was fun.
They did. Now
I heard that's a musical.
Yeah, 1999. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. 1999.
Yeah. Now, see, the thing about that movie is that back in 1999, they couldn't tell because it wasn't that it was popular, but it wasn't that they couldn't tell how many people were watching it and everything. So this was supposed to be the last thing that South Park ever did. It was going to be this movie. That was going to be the last thing they ever did. But then the movie came out. And it made millions. It made so much, and they saw that people came and watched it and enjoyed it. That's why they're continuing today. So without that movie, they probably would have done a season finale and stopped and not know what they could have reached. So movies can just make or break, especially if it's about a series. It can make. It's really interesting.
Definitely.
Plus, wasn't that a musical? I believe
it was. There's so many songs. Yeah. There are so. I've got the soundtrack. I've got the soundtrack. I've got the soundtrack on CD.
Uncle Effa, that's the best song. Uncle Effa is the best song. That was so funny. That was so funny.
Yeah, that is funny. That is that.
I do. Continue. I remember just thinking about experiences in the cinema. The ones the two that come to my mind straight away are Joker and Avengers Endgame. Joker, because I remember seeing it when we went to go and see it. I think it was with the two of you guys. I can't remember, but it was just the theater was full of people and everyone was reacting. You get a genuine audience reaction from every scene in the film, and it was brilliant. And obviously with Endgame, it was such a cultural moment in history that it's going to be something that is going to be remembered for, despite the fact we've got COVID now, it's still going to be something that's going to be remembered for years to come, that everyone came together to make it the highest grossing movie of all time, and the story that it told and the end of that universe it almost took and what it meant to a lot of people was just such a big event in pop culture history that it's never really going to happen again, is it? I mean, people went mad when the Avengers movie, the first one, was made. Like, people never thought that was going to happen in a million years. And then look, like, what, 10 plus years later, you've got this big, massive ensemble movie with every character you've ever seen in a Marvel movie on screen together at the same time. It was just the biggest thing in the world at the time, and it was just, I feel so happy to be part of that, and I'm sure probably you guys too as well, because it was so big at the time. It was massive. It was everywhere. Well, you couldn't turn an eye.
Except from Black Widow.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Rest in peace.
That's a complicated thing.
Yeah. And its ending was like very... I don't know. For one, I remember... You guys probably remember. We were in the cinema and I cried so hard I fell off my seat and landed flat on my face.
You cried so hard. I think we were all crying, but you took it hard.
I was crying. I don't know what.
You took it super
yeah, I fell off my seat. It was funny. It was funny. I fell off my seat. But that was just a memory for me. You know, recapping those important moments in that film. I'm probably going to say them because 90% of the world's population has seen that film. But it was obviously Cap holding this Thor's hammer. Obviously Tony flicking his fingers and Tony's death and all that. Some big moments in history.
Yeah, that film did change a lot. It did change a lot.
Adam, you're making a good point, but you got to remember that it was said explicitly in the film that the effects of the stones cannot be undone, no matter how hard you try. And also, the stones were gone, so he couldn't have done that because he relies on the,
as well.
Relies on the Mind Stone, doesn't he? He relies on the green stone, and he didn't have it because they got snapped because they destroyed all the stones. So they sent them back to their rightful time zone. So technically, at this point in time, the stone is still with Sorcerer Supreme in 2012 Avengers World. Technically, if you want to be specific.
Yeah. Not to mention as well, it was like one of the highest grossing films of all time, being Avatar.
Yeah, which is why I'm talking about it now, because the news broke that Avatar got a surprise re-release in China and it only needed $7 million to beat Endgame, and it got $5 million in pre-sale tickets. And this morning, the news broke that Avatar has now regained its position as the highest grossing movie of all time. So people are now saying that imminently Endgame is going to get a re-release, so they can then regain their title back once again.
Now we just need to wait to flipping Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people probably watch that for sure. For sure.
It's funny because looking at the highest grossing movies of all time, a lot of them are not like, I remember reading it, 8 of the 32 of them are actually Marvel movies. So it's it's really interesting to see that. See if I can find the list and I'll go through them and see how many films you guys have seen out of the highest grossing films of all time list. There's 50 films. So we've got the original Lion King. How many people here have seen the original Lion King?
I've seen the original Lion King many times.
I've not seen the original Lion King.
What?
So I haven't seen the original Lion King. Don't at me.
Really?
I haven't seen the original Lion King. What I have seen, and I think is a pretty good film, is somehow Despicable Me 2 is the 49th highest grossing movie of all time. So that's... Yeah, Despicable Me 2 is the 49th highest grossing movie of all time. And apparently it grossed more than the original Lion King, which is interesting.
Surprising.
Wait till you hear that Jurassic Park, that Despicable Me 3 is at 39, and that it actually grossed more than Episode 1 of Star Wars, which is just like, and The Dark Knight, which is like, how is that even possible?
Oh, I don't.
48, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, which I haven't seen as well.
Yeah, you haven't seen any of that.
47, one of my favorite comic movies ever made, and probably one of the best comic movies ever made of all time. The Dark Knight, easily a masterpiece in my opinion. Brilliant film. 46, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I haven't seen that either.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
You haven't seen that either?
45, The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey, which I also haven't seen.
You haven't seen many movies, have you, Billy?
I mean, you're not wrong there. 44, Zootopia, which I also haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
43, Alice in Wonderland, which I also haven't seen.
Alice in Wonderland is a bit of a disappointment. In my opinion.
I've heard it's not the best. One I have seen, 42, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I've seen all of them.
Yeah, that's not bad.
41, Finding Dory, which I also haven't seen.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
40, Jurassic Park, which I also haven't seen. That's a really bad one. I need to watch that one.
I've seen. I'm waiting to see Jurassic Park 1 and 2.
Nice. 39. So all those ones before, I didn't even come close to Despicable Me 3. Don't ask me how on earth that happened.
I remember watching Jurassic Park for the first time. I was away in London with my auntie and my grandma, and they were like, "What, you haven't watched Jurassic Park?" And so they rented it out. They rented it out from I don't know where, but they rented out all 3 movies, and so I sat up until like 11 watching it with them. It was really awesome. Watch all 3 movies.
That sounds fun. Sounds fun.
It was really cool. And then of course and that was before the new ones came out, and so it was really good to get that. And I really loved them.
Yeah.
I really loved watching them. In my opinion, the first one is the best and will always be the best.
I'm pretty sure I know a lot of people. I haven't seen it, but I know a lot of people agree with that fact. So that's fun.
It just always will be. In my eyes, it just always will be the best.
But yeah, on that note, apparently Despicable Me 3 made more money than Jurassic Park, Star Wars Episode 1,
really?
and all the previous mentioned films. Above them is Despicable Me 3. I have no idea how that's possible, but it's there.
Really?
I've got no idea. Yeah, really. What? 39 Despicable Me 3 with making $1 billion at the box office.
Oh, wow. That's
beyond me.
That's weird.
It is 38 Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, which I haven't seen. Don't know how many of you guys have seen any of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
I've seen the first one,
I've seen one of them, but I don't know which one it is.
I've seen the most recent one, which was like, I can't actually remember which one that was.
I've seen one of the Pirates. I think it was Dead Man's Chest. I saw. It might have been the first one, the tentacle guy with the face of tentacles. That one.
Davy Jones.
Yeah, that's the one I saw with him in it. So, because I saw it, I was on a retreat and they played it. And I was like, I don't like this movie. And then afterwards, I was like, I like this movie now. 37, the 2019 remake of Aladdin.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it was 37. Good, but it's not the Aladdin.
Yeah,
remake of Aladdin sucks.
But it's currently the 37th highest grossing movie of all time, so that's fun. 36, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, which is fun.
That's interesting.
35, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Another Pirates of the Caribbean movie, doesn't surprise me. 34, Toy Story 3, and 33 is Toy Story 4, so Toy Story 4 made more money than Toy Story 3, which is fun. 32, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, which doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, a lot of people have mixed opinions about that film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but hey, that's me being...
Yeah, we're fine.
And here's an interesting one, because I thought this film would have been a lot higher. 31, Joker. And it hasn't moved, so that's fun. 30, The Dark Knight Rises. It's fun. 39, Transformers Age of Extinction. Don't ask me why there's 2 more Transformers movies on this list. I really don't know why. And they shouldn't be, because they're not very good movies, but apparently Transformers made more money than Joker. That's very sad. 28, and here's a good one that I think is one of the best movies ever made and should be a lot higher. Skyfall. Same film.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. Skyfall was amazing.
I remember seeing Skyfall for the first time. I was on here's my version of the Jurassic Park story, but it's slightly different. I was on holiday in Brighton with my aunt, my mum, and my nan, and we went out to like the midnight screening of Skyfall on the first. I think it was like literally midnight, and it was lots of fun. I remember seeing it on a midnight screening, and it was the first Bond movie I ever saw in the cinema, which obviously it left a imprint on me because now, I talk about them all the time. But yeah, it was the first Bond movie I saw in the cinema. I'm thankful it wasn't Quantum of Solace because I hate that movie. But yeah, that's my story for Skyfall.
It's funny because I always associate you with James Bond because one of my first memories of meeting you was I obviously we met in class, but then later in the year there was a sale. There was like the school sale. Or
I know what you can say. I remember this now.
And I was there, and I was there with my mum, and I see you with all the James Bond movies that you had just brought from the sale, and it was fun.
I still have that. I still have that. I remember walking out of school with.
And I can remember my mum saying, "Oh look, that kid likes James Bond."
I still have that set on my shelf.
Awesome. Oh wow.
I have the box still, and the box was slightly tattered when I got it, but somehow it's gotten better. So yeah, I still have that set to this day. A shelf from.
Yeah.
And then it was a Transformers movie.
I think he's. You're lagging out a bit, Bill, for me, or is that not for everyone?
I thought the worst one was the most recent one. Wasn't that the one with dinosaurs in it?
Which one?
Wasn't the last Transformer film wasn't that the one with dinosaurs in it or something like that? Like
the last one that was the last night.
Yeah, just why?
It was good.
Why put flipping dinosaurs
because
in your universe?
Jurassic Park crossover.
Yeah, because I think it had something to do with Grimlock and him having to be there. But I'm not entirely too sure. I was just a Transformer fanatic a few years ago.
But yeah, it's very good. It was I'm not really into Transformers. I haven't really watched the movies much. I just know Bumblebee. That's all I know.
I still haven't seen Bumblebee.
Bumblebee was amazing.
Bumblebee is always amazing. And yes, the movie Bumblebee. I've seen the movie Bumblebee.
It was amazing. Loved it.
What are your thoughts on the Transformers, Bill? I think he's. I can't hear him. Can anyone else hear him?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I got him.
Bill, if you're still with us, type in the chat. Type in the chat because no one can hear. Bruh. Okay, well he's still with us.
Bruh. Okay, right, he's still with us.
He's still with us, but it must be his mic's died or something, or he's just not talking.
Yeah, or his voice box has gone kasplat.
His voice box has just gone kasplat.
I've been talking this whole fucking time.
Oh well, yeah. Your mic's you're not coming through at all on anyone's thing. Dan, can you hear him?
No, I can't hear Billy.
Okay, well then you haven't been talking. We can't hear you. No proof. No proof.
So what do we do?
No idea.
I think considering everyone.
Hello. Anybody?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Hello, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Time for some ASMR, boys.
Oh, God, no.
No, I beg no.
I'm joking.
Everyone says no.
My opinion, I heard you say what was my opinion of Transformers. I'm going to say I had an Optimus Prime one when I was little, and then that's about it. And I had a DVD of an old Transformers movie, but I never saw anything other than that. So that's basically my entire experience with Transformers, which is not very much. 26 Captain Marvel, fun film. It was alright.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. It was one of the earliest films I saw in the cinema with Dan, and I think were you with us when we saw Captain Marvel, Elijah? I can't remember.
I think
I feel like you.
I think the earliest.
I feel like he was. Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So I can't remember. Were you with us when we saw Captain Marvel, Elijah, or not? I can't remember. Were you? I don't think you were.
I don't think
about it.
I don't.
I think the first one we saw with you might have been, was it Shazam or Endgame? I feel like.
I want to say it's Endgame.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Shazam actually, because I remember seeing Shazam with everyone, with Elijah.
I definitely saw Shazam. And I definitely saw Endgame with you guys.
Yeah, it must have been Shazam. I can't remember. Anyway, above one, I think we all saw this one, 25, which I thought it was better than Homecoming. Spider-Man: Far From Home, which I thought was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I thought I
enjoyed it. That bit at the end, the ending of that film is mad. Like the first post-credit scene where you have J. Jonah, that blew my mind. And then you have after that where the whole that thing. I'm not going to say because that's a big one. Where that thing happened. How are they going to? Obviously, that's a setup for the next one where it's just going to be mad how they're going to go through with that.
No,
it's going to be fun.
I was going to say it's going to be connected to the TV show that they're working on, not Spider-Man, but the other character.
Yeah. That's good. 24, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, which I haven't seen, which is bad.
I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings films.
I haven't seen them either. 23, which is a film I had a weird opinion. When I saw it in the cinema, I thought it was horrible. But I rewatched it. I thought it was really good, and that's Aquaman, which I think I've just seen Aquaman.
I think I have seen it, and I thought it was fine. I mean, it was definitely better than Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah, for sure. Batman v Superman was just weak. I didn't enjoy Batman v Superman at all.
I did.
I mean, there were some good moments in it. I thought Wonder Woman's scene in that film, the music and her entrance is just like when she's in full costume is brilliant in that film. That's like the best scene in the whole film. That music makes it brilliant. Like her theme in that film is brilliant. So yeah, the better versus movie of 2016, in my opinion, Captain America: Civil War is in at 22, which that's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Civil War. I remember I watched the press conference when they announced all the movies for that phase, and they originally announced it as Serpent Society, and then they then said it was Civil War, which I thought was a really cool move.
Yeah, that was like, was it called Secret Society? I believe it was, or
Serpent Society, I think it was, something like that.
But then Kevin Feige was like, "Wait, hang on, we got to change of name."
And then it changed the name, and then Captain America and Iron Man came on screen and just did almost like they were about to fight each other, which was came onto the stage. It was quite funny. 21, a movie that I don't ever want to see because it's really bad, and I don't know how it's better than all of these other movies made more money. Minions.
Oh,
Minions. Minions.
I don't know why. I do not know why they needed to explain it. The Minions. I get there's some reasoning why they wanted to, but I don't know why they had to make a whole movie about it.
Money.
Yeah, that is literally the only reason.
Money.
It's literally just yellow blobs running around everywhere. There is no point. The Minions were perfect with Gru. They were perfect in Despicable. They didn't need that whole own movie series at all.
That's why I'm kind of looking forward to the second Minions movie, because it isn't about the Minions, it's about Gru. It's a prequel about Gru growing up, which is going to be... I had to call it Minions because you can't really call it Despicable Me for Gru's origin. That would just sound weird. So I get calling it Minions too. When it was first announced, I thought, not another Minions movie. But when the trailer came out, it showed it all about more focusing on Gru's origin rather than the Minions, which is... I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea.
That is a really good idea. I would have preferred if they'd done that instead
with the first one. Yeah,
because we just know that the Minions in fact, they didn't even tell us how the Minions came about. They just told us they've been there since the dawn of time, which is just...
And it made everyone think after the Minions movie that they would have teamed up with Hitler if they had the chance. Apparently, people said that after the movie that because they would have literally had anyone as their leader, they would have teamed up with Hitler.
Oh,
Was the theory that everyone was saying after the movie.
See, they just didn't need to do that, did they? They just really.
It's just like you're telling me little yellow blobs are going to team up with the world's worst human being to kill. That's a concept my brain doesn't want to handle. Ever. Also, the minions are incredibly annoying. Like in that film, they're obviously just not meant to be there. So it's just like, why would you do that?
I mean, to be fair, like, but what about like that Shaun the Sheep film that had like no dialogue?
Exactly. That film, I remember seeing that film. That film was good because it had no dialogue, so it wasn't it wasn't like that. It was actually well made because it was obviously a studio who doesn't just want to make money from their films; they actually want to make a good product. Whereas Illumination, basically, just money.
It is very hard.
Just money.
Very hard.
And mediocre films.
Talking about Shaun the Sheep, it is very hard to make a film without dialogue to keep people.
Let alone two of them.
It's very hard to keep that viewer retention throughout the movie and stuff like that. But they did it quite well. They did it really.
They made two of them.
They made two.
Congratulations.
So
how you can do that, I don't know, but yeah.
See, I don't know about any of you, but I've been watching on Disney Plus. I think it's I can't remember the name of the series, but it's all about Pixar. It's all about the people that work
Inside Pixar.
Yeah, Inside Pixar. I've been watching that. That is brilliant. Just to see what they've done.
Those kind of documentaries are cool. Like stuff like One Day at Disney, The Imagineering Story, Inside Pixar. Those sort of things really interest me because they're my interest. Film, parts media, lots of fun.
Have you watched Inside Pixar, Bill?
I haven't yet. No, it's on my list along with Imagineering Story and One Day at Disney.
You definitely should. It was really brilliant. It just it shows you our aspects. It even shows you the canteen that they have there. It even shows you there's this girl who's a pudding chef there, and she takes you for. She has to make all these puddings for all these because Pixar's like a massive campus. It's like its own isolated base, and it's like it's just really awesome. It's really awesome to like go in there and just like some of the video that they take is like amazing. Either way, it's a really great watch, and I do recommend that.
Nice. Yeah, I do want to watch it. It's on my list, but there's so much stuff on Disney Plus to watch. It's overwhelming. It's full of stuff to watch.
It's so much,
and it's so hard to pick something. That's what I find myself when I'm browsing Disney Plus. It's so hard to just pick something because there's so many good options.
There's so much content. Because obviously
Family Guy,
I think the reason why Disney's been doing so well is because of the library, because of the amount of stuff.
So much of the biggest films that have come out recently. So that's why when people heard Disney were doing a streaming service, it was just going to be the best thing in the world because so many, instead of having all the different movies thrown across Amazon Prime Video, Now TV, and Netflix, all in one place, some of the biggest franchises in the world, and they use it to their advantage with marketing. Star Wars, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, National Geographic, all these massive franchises
and stars
in one place. It's just and stars. Well, it's just a catalogue of just some of the best films ever made. And when you look at the highest grossing films, like 90% of them are Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars. Any of those films are all on this list. Like most of them are Disney films. Back to that list, 20, Iron Man 3, which I think was very underrated. People seem to hate that film, but I think it was actually really good, in my opinion. Iron Man 3 was a good film.
I mean, when it was announced that Star was coming to Disney Plus, it was kind of a surprise because no one knew it was happening.
Yeah.
But it was a welcome addition.
It really was.
Because now we got films like Die Hard and Soul Opposite and Modern Family and bunch of other films.
I'm a bit surprised that Battle Angel isn't on that on the Star catalogue. It's very weird that it's not there yet.
Give it a bit of time.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose that should do it for today, the first episode. I don't know how long we've been recording for, but it seems like a long time, so I think that should wrap it up.
Yeah,
we've been doing it for 1 hour.
That should do it, yeah. Well, I've been Bill.
You're interested in doing something else? Like, I could go on Xbox.
Maybe, but I think...
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later after we've stopped recording.
Oh, okay.
Thank you to the to our fellow hosts, myself, Bill. Obviously, we've got Dan, Elijah, and Adam.
Yes.
Thank you for those guys for joining us. This has been an interesting experiment for all of us. We've all wanted to do it for a while. It's been fun. I think we got a good.
It's been fun to talk about it. It's been fun to talk about it. We obviously had some technical issues. As you all may be able to tell, we are doing this social distance style. We're all online on a Discord call, so we're not together. So there is obviously some problems.
We are doing this legally. Don't sue me, okay?
Don't bring the FBI to our houses.
Yeah. Thank you, all of you people, for listening. It's been fun. Hopefully, there'll be another episode next week if we can get ourselves together. I don't know if anyone wants to continue it. I've had fun, so I think maybe we should. But who knows? It's up to the guys to decide. But I think that we should call it a day.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
That's good.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.